How are you? Let me know when you come on. Make sure to say hello. Hope you guys are doing well, having a great weekend so far. I'm Teresa with Teresa Renee Art. I'm the owner of Decoupage Queen and the Royal Court Arts and Crafts. We are a distribution company in the United States for all kinds of arts and crafts supplies. And we are bringing you a 40-week series on all of our favorite Pentart products, really all the products. We're just going to go through all of them. Good morning. Good morning, Cindy. Good morning, Dana. Good morning, Maureen. Mel, good morning. Good morning. Good morning from Wisconsin. Hello, Rennie. So you guys, we are streaming in 5 different places this morning. We are on the Royal Court Facebook page, my Facebook page, Teresa Renee Art. We're on 2 different YouTube channels this morning, and we're on the Decoupage and Mixed Media Inspirations group. If you don't know, the Decoupage and Mixed Media Inspirations group is the group that is sponsored and run by the admins of the Royal Court. And it's really our designated place to share all of our products created with our projects created with the products that we carry. We do allow anything though in there. So any and all projects are welcome in that group. Hello, Rennie. Hello, Robin. Hello, Kelly. Hey, Trina. How are you? So hopefully we'll have a pretty good crowd this morning. Today we're going to be talking about snow paste, snow crystal paste, ice crystal paste, ice effect paste, and rainbow paste. So that's a mouthful. They are all very similar products. So we're going to break down the nuances of each one of them one by one. Hello, Cindy. I get a lot of questions about these products in the wintertime. And so we're going to hopefully answer all of those. It's not too late to use those. In fact, I know many of our people have said that they start their holiday crafting on January 1st because a lot of our users do markets and things like that. And so it takes them a full year really to prepare a lot of holiday products. So these are really year-round products that you can use for, I mean, they're designed for holiday crafting, but there's no reason why you couldn't sprinkle some of this stuff into to other things. Hello, there's a lot. Yeah. Yep. So just a little bit of housekeeping. If you were on the past, what are we on? Number 4? We're on 4 already. If you were on the last 3 sessions, you know this already. But I am going to ask if you could please save your questions for the end. And then if you can, please keep all of your questions on topic about the products that we're talking about. Any other questions at any time can be asked to your retailer. If you are if you're watching me on my page at Teresa Renee Art, then you can type in !retailers, and that will take you to our retailers. I can't remember if it's retailer or retailers. I'm sorry. So try it both ways if one doesn't work. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Amanda. I'm doing great. How are you? How are you? So 4 minutes in, without further ado, we're going to try to keep this at 1 hour. I do have my coffee, so I'm going to drink my coffee. I'm going to turn my camera down. We're going to go ahead and get started, you guys. Snow. So I'll just show them to you. Snow paste. Snow crystal paste. Ice crystal paste. Good morning, Lori. Ice effect paste. And rainbow paste. So we're going to break down each one of them. They are some of my favorite products too. I really cannot choose just one, but there are, each one is slightly different and has its own different effect. So they're not necessarily interchangeable. If you don't have a share button, it's probably because you're watching on one of our groups. on the Decoupage and Mixed Media Inspirations group, which is a private group. So if you switch over to the Royal Court page or Teresa Renee Art page, you should have a share button. All right, so good morning. Good morning. I'm just going to start. I'm going to paint some of these tags black because I find that some of the nuances and the effects show up a little bit better against a darker surface just for demonstration purposes. And then I'm also going to keep these little tags that I'm creating as demos. I do have 2 of them already made with 2 of these products, but I didn't have the other 3. So we're going to go ahead and start by creating some black tags. Brenda, you've never used any of them? Well, I hope that after this demo, you will feel confident enough to try some of them. I am going to share which ones are my favorites. I do have some favorites. There are a couple that I rarely use, but I do use them. So, you know, these are awesome. You just have to sort of pick the look that you like best and decide if you think it will get use in your crafting. And we will do a small project as well at the end. So I'm going to paint these black, and then I'm going to switch over, and I've got a board that we're going to decoupage with a winter paper. So we're just kind of laying out some prep work for being able to show you all of these. So, and again, my husband and I had, we ended up, all 3 kids wanted to go spend the night at grandma's. So we actually ended up with a date night last night. We went out to dinner. We went to Seasons 52. So any plans that I had to prep ahead of time went out the window because I'm always going to choose dinner with the hubs over arts and crafts. All right, so I'm just going to put those off to the side. And let's pull down our lots of snow. Oh, Pat, lots of snow. Well, this should be a good demo for you if you're experiencing snow right now. Hello, Dina. How are you? All right. So this is the paper we're going to use. We're going to put this on, it's just a board, a piece of plywood or something that, you know, my husband buys me this plywood and then just cuts it down for me just so I can have some project blanks. So something kind of simple here, something different than a tag. We're going to go ahead and we're going to decoupage this on. And I'm not going to worry about the edges right now. So we're just going to go ahead and get this on. We will sand off whatever edges we don't end up wanting or needing. And if I can find some decoupage glue, story of my life. It's all just over here, just randomly piled up. Let's see, here it is right here. Okay. Yes. We had a nice evening. It was very nice. So nice dinner. And I like the impromptu dates the best, you know. And we're both trying to kind of keep our eating somewhat light. So Seasons 52, if you've never been to Seasons 52, or if you don't have one near you, their whole menu, it's all very like fresh seasonal menus, and they're very into like great tasting things that aren't super high calorie counts. It's not like diet food necessarily, but it is mindful. Yes, I need to put those air tags on all my products. How funny would that be? So I am going to drink my coffee this morning. All right. Hello, Sabine. How are you? Yes, it's always about the bin. I need one of my people, one of my friends, maybe I'll talk to Pam about this, but one of my friends who makes MDF stuff, I need somebody to create me an organization system that is exactly sized for all these little bottles. How awesome would that be? Yeah. Oh, Brenda, that's awesome. Where did you go? Yeah, Seasons 52 is one of my favorite places too. We haven't been in a long time because the one that was closest to us actually closed down after COVID. So we had to drive a little ways to get to it, but we do really enjoy it. And you don't feel so guilty. You know, even their desserts are like, they come in little shot glasses. All right, Amanda. Well, yeah, we need to talk to Pam. I don't know. Pam, are you on? Pam from Handcrafted Holiday Traditions. I need to talk to you, if so, about some custom storage solutions for tiny little bottles. Hello, Tina from Ontario. I just want to say thank you in advance. You know, this is our fourth week. I had somebody who she might be on. I don't know if you're on, Nora, but I had somebody who messaged me who was laughing at me for my ground rules about not asking questions in the, you know, during the process. And she kind of knows me. She knows my style. So she was kind of laughing at me. She's like, that's so you know, just painting your little thing and asking everybody to respect the ground rules. But I do want to say thank you for doing that, because it really does help me kind of just focus on what I'm saying. I get distracted very, very, very easily. And so if I go off topic, even the slightest bit, we may end up doing something totally unrelated. We'll be here all day. So this really does help me keep it very focused, because our hope is to really archive and save these videos so that you can access them forever and ever and really use them as a guide to refer back to them. So if I'm answering a lot of unrelated questions during these lives, it is going to quickly go downhill from there. All right, so I'm just going to put this off to the side and let that sort of dry. Rosalind, we have a few retailers in Canada who do carry our products. Check out, you can actually go to exclamation point retailers to find them. We have Colleen from Furniture Facelift by Coe. We have Dagny from Redefined. We have a couple others as well. So feel free to check out our retailer directory for Pentart products. A lot of them are carrying more and more of it. So they should become easier to find as we move along. I know right now Manitoba is experiencing very, very cold temperatures, so that they don't actually ship these products in the winter. So you have to kind of wait until spring, because they are subject to freezing. Hi, Denise. How are you? Outback. Oh, yeah. Outback is awesome. Hi, Janice. I'm just scrolling back up through. Let's see. Snow, shop is quiet. Good morning, Jana. All right. So we will not have I know if you watch me on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we do the wheel at the end for little D-stash giveaway. We don't do that on this live. There's too many of you to do that on this live. But if you join me on Tuesday and Wednesday, I spin the wheel at the end. It's a random drawing because I have to de-stash my craft room. All right, so I'm going to start with snow paste, and I'm going to put it on this black tag so you can see how it goes on. Snow paste is the one. This is the first one we're going to cover. This is the one if you're looking for freshly fallen, fluffy snow. This is the product that you want. This is the Pentart snow paste. So this is going to be the most realistic looking snow product that is available on the market. This product also comes in pen form. So if you want to outline something, you can do it with a pen. We are not going to demonstrate the pen though. I'm just putting it on this black tag so you can sort of see. It does have some fine little granules in it. So it's kind of like a structure paste, but it's a pure white and it is somewhat fluffy. And you can layer this if you want to make piles of snow. You can layer this as well. The snow pen, Cindy, is super handy if you're doing like outlines or rooftops or something like that. So this is number one. This is the snow paste. And I'm going to let you guys have a really good look at that. It's very clean, and you can fluff it up a little bit with your palette knife. Okay. Yes, it is a beautiful texture. It is, I would say, if we were comparing it to the texture of some of the products that we looked at last week, it's probably most similar to structure paste. So I will tell you in the past, if I've opened up my snow paste, and I go through jars and jars and jars of this, you guys. So I'm not your normal crafter. I literally like have to keep these in stock in my personal craft room at all times because I never know when I'm going to need it. But there are times that I've gone to pull it out and it's been dry, because like I said, once it hits the air, you've got, only a few months really to use it up. Well, during the summer months when you're not reaching for snow paste, the stuff can dry out. So the product that's the most similar to this would be the structure paste. Betty, it's different. I can't give you a hard and fast time frame. I mean, it depends on how long you sit there and leave it open. It depends on the ambient temperatures of the room, but you do want to use it probably within 3 to 6 months. Because once it hits the air, it's starting. So structure paste is probably the one that's most similar, but there are some differences. So freshly fallen snow, you can let it dry and then continue to layer it. So that's number one. That's the snow paste. And we're going to next kind of go down the chain. The next one on the list is going to be snow crystal paste, which is, if I don't have snow paste on hand, I might opt for snow crystal instead, which is similar. But it is similar. And again, so just so you know, on the questions, if you ask a question, it very well could be that I'm going to answer it because I'm going to try to anticipate the questions that might be needed. So hopefully at the end, you won't really have any. But again, just wait, if you don't mind just waiting until the end to ask your questions, that would be greatly appreciated. All right. So snow crystal paste, you can tell it's not quite as opaque as the snow paste. And it's definitely got some glittery properties to it. So it's got a slight, kind of like when the light hits snow after it's crystallized for a while. That's what's happening with this product is meant to kind of simulate not freshly fallen snow, but snow that is now starting to kind of turn to ice. It's not slush yet, but it is starting to turn to ice. So, you know, these products do work pretty well together as well. So if you do the snow and then you do this one on top, and kind of layer them and intersperse them, you can get some nice effects. So one thing I want to point out about snow crystal paste is there are some little dark specks, and you can't really see it that well on this jar, but you might here you go. Here's one right here. So you might come across some little black specks in your snow crystal paste. That is intentional and it is normal. So it's meant to kind of simulate the natural look of snow as it crystallizes. You might have some flecks of dirt or debris or something in there in a natural environment. The black is completely intentional and normal. It is not mold. I've had that question before. There seems to be mold in my snow crystal paste. It is not mold. It is intentional. It's like little bits of mineral, just minerals kind of sprinkled in there. So that is intentional. Okay. You know, and if that doesn't work for you, then, you know, just be aware, because I have had some people tell me they wish they had known because they wouldn't have bought it with the black things. And, you know, I mean, to each their own. All right. So that is the snow crystal. Let me show you them side by side to show you that they are different. So this one is going to dry completely white, just like you see it. This one is going to get a little bit more transparent than it is now, but it will still look pretty white. So yes, it's like the gravel that the snowplow picked up. That's exactly right, Sue. So this one will start to get a little bit more transparent than what it is now, and you'll leave behind this kind of like crusty looking ice layer, but you will still be able to see. So it's like semi-transparent, I guess, when it dries. And when we do our blog post, I'm going to show each of these tags in that blog post, so you really will have a reference point side by side once they all dry. Okay, so next up we have the ice crystal paste. I do use this one a lot as well. This one is going to be more like, it does dry transparent, and it is going to be just more like glittery ice that might form on a window pane or something like that. So, you know, but I layer these a lot too. So like, you know, if I put snow down, you can pretty much rest assured that I am going to come behind with some snow crystal and some ice crystal and smack those on top of the snow, because I like the glittery look. Snow paste does not have any sparkle or glitter in it at all. Okay. This one has a small amount of sparkle, and it's like a very fine, maybe white or silver glittery, which is not picking up on camera. I don't know if you can see it. This one, in terms of glittery, has probably, of the three, it has the most. It does have a high sparkle look to it. We're going to go ahead and slather this one on. This one will dry transparent and very glittery. So I don't know if you follow me, some of the glass ornaments that I did this past Christmas season, I actually layered this product on the glass so that the glass reflected little glittery sparkles. So it's going to go on kind of opaque, but it will dry clear, and there's a very, very high glitter content. The glitter is fine, so it's like fine chunks, fine little specks of glitter everywhere. So very, very sparkly. That is the ice crystal paste. Ice crystal. All right. And so those three are out of the way. Let's move on to Ice Effect. These two I actually do have sample boards of already because I wanted you to really see Ice Effect. I wanted you to see this one dry. A lot of times people confuse Ice Effect with Ice Crystal. And while they are similar, there are some obvious differences. I would say out of all these products, they're probably the most interchangeable, but not really. Excuse me one second. Dina, I'm drinking my coffee. Take a coffee break here for a second. Okay. All right, so Ice Effect. This is what it looks like when it's completely dry. I've had this demo for a long time. I'm going to go ahead and pull out a new one. Sometimes there is some settling that occurs, so you might have to you might have to come in and stir a little bit, which is what I'm going to do. So this one has chunks of, it's almost like galaxy flakes in there. It's got chunks of flaky particles in it that are very iridescent. And the product is going to show up a little bit differently against a white background versus a dark background. But here you can see all of that kind of green iridescent sparkle. And then it sort of leaves behind a trail of white icy debris. I don't know. It's not fully transparent though when it dries, as you can see. So I'm going to put it down. I'm just going to cover the tag completely and I'll leave the dry area alone so you can see what it looks like wet versus dry. And this one is hard to tell though, you know, it's hard to tell what it looks like. So that's why I pulled out my already dried, and it does take a while to dry. Another thing I want to say about this product in particular is the more you speed up the drying on this one, the less transparent it will look at the end. So I have sped this up and then had it stay completely white. So you really do want to let this one dry naturally. And it does take quite a while. It does take quite a while for it to dry. So I wouldn't be able to speed this up with a hair dryer and get the same look as what I had with it naturally dried. It's just a subtle nuance here, and I can't explain why. I don't really know why. It's just sometimes bead paste is the same way. Some of these products just don't respond well to being, they need to take their time. They will not be rushed. You know, so if you have time to naturally dry things, that's always preferred really with any of our products, but on some of them in particular, you will, there will be consequences if you don't let them dry on their own. So this is one of them. All right, so here's my final product, and we will save Q&A for the end. The next product, and I throw this one in here, it's not an ice product, but the look of it, you know, a lot of people, I would say the Ice Effect and the Rainbow are very similar. I think the glitter chunks in them are the same, but the difference is this one leaves behind the kind of white crystallized ice things, and this one doesn't. This one does dry pretty much completely transparent. So this is Rainbow. So if you just want glittery chunks, and no icy look, rainbow is a really good choice. And it doesn't really look rainbow, it looks more green. But like if you were doing some sort of, I think of this one, I think like if you were doing some sort of kids project, and I've used this actually for some of my granddaughter's pieces that I've done because, kids love glittery things. If I'm ever teaching a class with kids, I take this one along too, because who doesn't love all this sparkle? So if you teach classes where kids might be joining, you should definitely have some rainbow, because they also really like that it's it's called rainbow. So anyway, it's just another thing that's going to leave behind lots and lots of glitter. It will look differently against a light surface. And what I may do is do the opposite side. I may do white and put the same products on so you can see side by side. Of course, this glitter stuff is going to show up a lot better on a dark surface than on a light one. But like if you painted a unicorn, for example, and you put some of the stuff in its mane, it would be really pretty. Okay, so this is the rainbow paste, and it does dry transparent. So there's lots of different colors of sparkles in there. There's pink, red, etc. But the one that you tend to see the most is the green. Okay, so I'm going to put these off to the side now. And we will move on to our little decoupage board now example, so you can see how I might go about incorporating some of these into a project. So let's come back over here. I'm gonna grab my blow dryer and get this one nice and dry. This paper is called Cozy Cottage. It's number 514. It's from the Decoupage Queen Christmas release 2023. Yeah, kind of mermaid, Cindy, for sure. And again, when we do, because we are starting the blog posts, I do have the first one done on the heavy body gel. So if you go to the Royal Court Arts website and you go to blog, and I don't have a quick link there, but I don't know if Sue is able to kind of find it for us. In fact, I might be able to, hold on one second. I might be able to share it. Let's see, the royalcourtarts.com. It's the royalcourtarts.com/blog. And that should be it right there. So I've shared that link out everywhere. That's going to take you to the page that's going to have all of the write-ups on each of the sessions that we've done. There will be a little bit of a delay because it takes some time to thoughtfully write these things. So we have done the first one on heavy body gel. Thank you, Sue. We've done the first one on heavy body gel. And it's there for you, and it's going to give you a complete write-up and description, along with a link back to the YouTube version of the video that we've done, so that you can always have it to refer back to at any time. Okay, so we will have one for each session that we cover, but again, there probably will be a little bit of a delay because we're not robots. We're actual humans writing these things. This is not a situation where AI writing is going to work for us, because we want the descriptions to be thoughtful and accurate. So, all right, so I think I'm nearly there here. So I'm just going to show you, we have a very nice paper that is going to really respond very well to these products because we have a lot of natural winterness occurring. Okay, so I am going to take my sandpaper, and I know this may bother some of you, but it's old school. I don't have one of those fancy gator tools like Terry has. This is what I have because it works. All right, so I'm just going to sandpaper this off. And let's see, go over here. And sandpaper. And don't worry about this white edge because we can blend that out. We won't do that. That's not part of the demo, blending, but you know, we will. All right. Use what you have. That's right. You're very welcome. I know sometimes it can be hard. Like if you remember a video or something, it can be very hard to remember where you saw something. You can spend a lot of time searching. So this is just helpful to have them all kind of written up and stored, cataloged in one place. And it will be also a super helpful tool for our retailers if they're trying to explain something to someone. Then they can just share a link to the product guide. So this is a tool really not just for our end users, but for our retailers to be able to use as well. So don't be surprised if you do ask your retailer a question, if they link back to one of these videos. A lot of our retailers do their own videos as well. So if you go to YouTube, you will find a wealth of information about these products as well. And we have done demos as well in the past. It's been sort of random, not as intentional as these. It's sort of like centered around whatever kind of project we want to do at the time, whereas these are just centered around the products. All right, so we have a nice winter scene here. We are going to come over and we're going to start with some snow paste. If I can find my snow paste, it was right in front of me. Snow paste, here it is. It is very easy to get confused, you guys. It is very easy to get confused. So one thing you may want to do, if you have some of these and you have little tags, you can create your own little, that's why I use tags. So I can make like a little, I can put them on a keychain thing, and I can just have like a kind of handy dandy reference point with all the products on one sort of keychain thing. All right, so let's get our palette knife. And I'm going to finish this coffee, Dina, before we're done. Good morning, Terry. I was just talking about you. Every time she comes on, I always got to tell her I was just talking about her. Okay, so you see the snow that's in this tree and this one here, that is ripe for snow paste. So we're just going to take some of that snow paste and we're going to layer that on the places in the image where there might be some freshly fallen snow. Because remember I said this is going to simulate freshly fallen snow, probably the best of all of the products. So we're going to put some down here in the trees. I might not put any on the ground as much, but I might put some here, and I might put some up in the roof, up in the roof area as well. And notice I'm not going like super heavy, but it's enough to kind of give the product or the project a little pizzazz without going overboard. And I'm not even going really thick. It's just a little bit kind of dabbed on. Okay. So I'll just do some over here along this roof line. And then down here along that roof line. And then I'll put a little bit more in the branches here. Okay, so just a little bit to give it a little bit of dimension and texture, but not overboard, not like so crazy that you can't even see what's happening in the rest of it. All right, so next I might take a little bit of snow crystal. And again, like I told you, I tend to use these all together. I'll use the snow crystal, and then finally, and I sort of do it like that. So it's like snow, it's like the order that nature does it, right? So snow falls on the ground first, and then it starts to crystallize, and then it turns to ice. So that's the order. It's just me. You don't have to do it that way, but that's the order that I tend to do them in as well. All right, so I'm going to dry real fast so I don't mess up my snow paste work. All right, and then I'll come back over with the snow crystal. Hello, Nancy. Hello, hello. Hi, Denise. Hello, Nicole. Hey, everybody. All right, so, and I'm just going to come back in with the snow crystal now and add a little bit more depth with that. And it just sort of keeps it from looking like flat, like you just placed gobs of white powder on. You're just sort of adding to the overall dimension. Is this necessary? Not really. I mean, look, you could get away with certainly just doing the snow paste and leaving it at that. But, I really like to play with the products that I have available. And if I can use more, then guess what? I'm going to use more. So that's just me. Not everybody's like that, but that's me. All right. So, and I don't need a lot, I'm not doing a lot. I'm just doing enough to, just enough to make it interesting. And then I might actually start now with the snow paste. This is where I might start putting some down here and in the grassy area. All right, and next I'll get my ice. I'm probably, out of the three of them, I probably am going to use the least amount of this one. It's more like kind of like salty sprinkles, just leaves behind a little trail of white dust, if you will. All right. Okay. All right. So that's that one. Now let's come over and do ice. I like the ice a lot because of the transparency. So I can completely ice up my windows and stuff with the ice. But first I'm going to dry again. And I'm not trying to get it completely dry. I'm just trying to get it dry enough so that when I start layering stuff over the top, it doesn't move around and mix together. Because remember, I did say that you're not necessarily trying to speed up your drying with the heat tool. And also demos are different, right? So demos, you sort of have to move things along. Okay. All right, so that's good. Now let's switch over to ice crystal. I probably will not use ice effect or rainbow in this because I just don't think we need it. I think the first three products are going to sort of speak for themselves on this one. So I think what I'm going to do with the ice crystal here is I'm actually going to take a little paintbrush and use it to kind of paint my windows sort of frosty and glittery. It's like the ice is sort of falling on the windows. And then I'm going to take it and I'm actually going to also do the snowflakes. And I'm like painting it on. I'm doing a kind of a thin look here. I'm not trying to go crazy pasty with it. I just want my snowflakes to be a little bit glittery. All right, and so now I'm going to do the same thing in trees and branches, and I might actually come in behind and very lightly dust some of these trees in the background to give it a little bit of sparkle, like kind of a twilight. And I might do it on these trees back here because they might be a little bit icy from being so cold. And then, of course, I'm going to kind of layer it in with everywhere else that I have done some snow and sparkle. Let's see, over here too. Why not? Because why not? All right. So they all do kind of work really well together, in other words. But you don't need all 5 of these. I mean, so I would say save your ice effect and your rainbow paste for different types of projects. If you're trying to create a snow scene, it's really these 3 that are going to have the biggest impact. Oh, and I have a snowflake down here as well. So it's just a hint of sparkle everywhere else. And then this roof is going to have some as well. And I'm going to have some layered in here too. All right. So pretty simple. I mean, just a easy way to add a little bit of texture and drama to a plain decoupage piece that does look, somewhat natural and not overdone, right? Pens can be very convenient as well for some of this stuff too. So I don't know how well you can see my glitter. You probably can't see it very much. But there's glitter in there. All right, so I'm going to dry and see if it shows up a little bit better. And while I'm drying, now is your time to go ahead and ask me your questions. Thank you so much for patiently waiting. Let's get all your questions out of the way. I did receive some feedback since we're streaming in 5 different places that I should repeat the question so that everybody can see what the question was, because people are watching in different places. So I will repeat your question before I answer. So go for it, guys. If you have any questions about any of these, feel free to ask. And if not, then you can have your 10 minutes back. Trying to think what we're doing next week. Let's see. I always have to look because I don't remember. Does anybody know what we're doing next week? I don't. Pentart demos next week. I've got my schedule here in front of me. Next week is going to be, next week is going to be stone paste and moss paste. Betty, these will stick to just about any surface. They do dry. It's got like some glue adhesive into it, so they will stick right onto glass without any treatment necessary. Thank you, Amanda. All right, you guys. So does Betty had a question? Will they stick to any surface? And I said just about any surface without a primer first. I think is going to work. So again, we will take pictures of all of these effects when they're dry, and we'll put them in the blog post so you can really see and have a good visual resource. But if you have some of these and you have tags, feel free to make your own little demo samples. Can you eye with paint? What's the question? Can you repeat the question, Connie? I'm not understanding your question. She wants to know if I can do something with them with paint. I don't know what the question is. If the question is, can I add paint? Can I mix with paint? Okay, you do not want to mix these with paint because paint is opaque, meaning it is going to cover up. There's a lot of transparent properties and glitter and flakes and things happening in here. So paint is going to mute all of that down, and the opacity of the paint is going to override the properties of this product. So you do not want to mix these with paint. They really need to stand on their own, if that makes sense. Can you paint over them? Like, let's say you wanted to, so that's a good question, because let's say that maybe I felt like I went a little too heavy on the snow paste and I wanted some of this green to show back through. I could certainly go in and dab some of that green on top there and do that. But you really shouldn't mix them with paint. All right, you guys, a process question, because I'm always torn between gloss and matte. When you use these on a piece like you just did, do you then cover the piece with a gloss finish? That's a great question. No, these don't need any sort of sealer or anything. In fact, if you use a sealer over these products, you may end up affecting some of the effects of the products. So these are meant to be like final steps. Okay, so what you would want to do if you want to seal this, you would want to take, after you lay down your decoupage, then you would seal it, the decoupage, either glossy or matte, whatever finish you prefer. And then once that's dry, then you would add these products, and then you won't do anything else. Okay, so these are like final things. You don't need to seal them, like kind of like velvet powder. You don't seal velvet powder because this is just properties that you're leaving behind. And this is mixed media artwork that's intended to be hung or displayed somewhere. So it's not going to be something that you're touching every day. And while they are permanent, if you sit there and rub them, they could flake off or come off. I do want to answer preemptively. I will answer another question. Yes, seal the piece before applying the paste, which is my favorite, most used product. I would say the one that I tend to reach for, there's actually two that I reach for the most. The two that I reach for the most are the regular snow paste and the ice crystal paste. I reach for those two the most. If you use the ice crystal on glass, you do not need to seal it. Correct. You do not need to seal it because it's got glue and adhesive in it already. That is your seal. It's sealing all that flaky stuff as it's drying. Next question. Preemptively, let me answer this one. One question that I did have is, will these products yellow over time? And I will tell you, I have been using them for 3 or 4 years. Nothing has turned yellow. I did ask the lab, I asked the Pentart lab that question. These products were developed about 10 to 12 years ago, and they actually showed me some of their sample projects from 10 to 12 years ago, and there's no yellowing. So the answer to that is, as of right now, because they're still, we haven't had these for 30 years. So we don't know what they're going to look like 30 years from now, but 12 years in, they haven't yellowed. Okay. Anything else? Anything else you didn't seal? That's right. You would not seal it. Okay. You guys, thank you so much for joining me. Come back next week for stone paste and moss paste. And of course, on Tuesday on my page, we are going to start a new project. And that'll be lots of fun. So thank you for joining me, you guys. Have a great weekend, and we will see you next time. All right, take care. Bye-bye.